welcome everyone to Stock Talk on November 4th. So the last YouTube video that I posted was on October 25th, and the title of that video was "The Prevailing Trend is Higher." And as we can see, from that day to today, we have indeed broken two all-time highs. And we talked about a lot of themes over the past set of videos over the past few months, and that is the market has been this year very resilient to the downside, and therefore the prevailing trend, and how do you know what the prevailing trend is? You just zoom out to the weekly time frame for the S&P 500 SPY, and you can see that the prevailing trend is a higher high and a higher low, which is an uptrend. And what's great to see is that after consolidating for over 1.5 years, we're finally more consistently breaking out towards all-time highs, and that's what we see right now. So with that said, your next question might be, well, that's great, where is the top? And my point here is this: with the market just now breaking out towards all-time highs, we don't have to see an immediate top. Now, I also talked about, in terms of a psychological perspective, that when does the boat start to sink and tip over? Well, in a psychological perspective, it is when the bears jump to the bullish side, then there's no more bears left, and that will eventually sink the boat, and we'll have another corrective move as we had in these months. But for now, there is still more fear in the markets, and as long as bears point to the fact, or mention the fact, I think, of a potential move as we had seen last year, then that's again the uncertainty that allows the markets to eventually push higher. But no doubt about it, the short-term trend, the medium-term trend, and the long-term trend are all higher. Also, one more thing. So in our group, in the course itself that I teach, I do these long-term stock outlooks, and these long-term outlooks get posted every 3 months, every 4 months or so. I'm going to post one of those, the very first one since I started the group, and I'll start posting them on here for everyone to see. This is what members get to see essentially, but I'll post the one I posted last year. This was during the corrective move in the markets, and then I'll post the sequential ones later on. So be on the lookout. I'm going to post it on YouTube, and you can see what the group is all about, and you can take a look at if you're interested. All right, so this is the S&P 500, and let's move on to the rest of the market. So let's look at the TVIX, which tracks volatility. So TVIX, as you can see, continues to make a lower low, an all-time low that is, and with markets pushing towards all-time highs, we expect TVIX to be pushing all-time lows, which is what we see here today. Do we see any sign of reversal for TVIX to the upside? The answer here obviously is no, and therefore broad markets look pretty good right now. Again, we're not going to guess where the top will be. When the market switches direction, then we switch on with it. For now, we've seen the bears have been pounding the fact since pretty much here, I think, and all the way up here, that we're going to have a major corrective move to the downside, and all that has been is everything but that, really. It's really been the opposite, in which we've pretty much gone higher this entire time. So there's really no waiting on the bearish case in the short term. And like I said, bears need to flip the short-term trend. If they can't even flip the short-term trend, they have no waiting on flipping the medium or long-term trend either. So here we go. Let's move on to crude oil. All right, with crude oil, we can see crude oil continues to consolidate. Here are your moving averages, and it's getting rejected at the daily moving average here. But like I said, with markets rallying, it gives or increases the probability that crude oil can eventually get over resistance. And that resistance comes in around the value of $62. So we're still very far away from that resistance. So patiently waiting for crude oil to do its thing. With natural gas, /NG futures, we talked about in the past, there was an arrow pointing up from this instance here, and you can see natural gas continues to push higher. And here's the deal. Natural gas doesn't show any sign of letting up yet. Again, wait for natural gas to make a turn first. For now, the trend here is solidly to the upside, the short-term trend, and your resistance is around 3.0. And that projection is still to the upside in the short term. /GC or gold futures. I told everyone I'm not really interested in gold until it gets near my support. And if this is the end of gold consolidating and pushing higher, that's fine to me as well. I'm okay with not taking the trade, but gold, in my opinion, needs to come down to around 1456 to 1460. Without coming down there, I'm not interested in gold. The trend is still consolidating, and it's been a while. So it's been since late August, but I think it still can consolidate for a little longer. All right, so there's a couple of interesting developments in the markets, of course, and I gave you some interesting tidbits of what I might be posting on the YouTube channel. And then finally, another very interesting is that I'm thinking about incorporating all you guys. So everyone who watches this YouTube video, and these are longtime viewers, I'm sure, and if you're new here, welcoming you all to the Discord group or some way of incorporating all of you into our group. Now, I know my group has paid subscribers as well, so I can't mix everyone together essentially, but we're gonna have some sort of thing in which I can interact with everyone as well. So to be determined. So just wait on that a little bit. Hopefully you're all excited. Okay, now going back to your comments from the last video, Rico. All right, Giants. Hope all is well. Oh, so we got Rico, we got Bay Trader, Steve, all pretty much saying the same thing and welcoming back to the channel. So thanks everyone for all of your thoughts. All right, okay, long time did not hear from you. What can you say about SOXL or SOXS? Okay, so while I can't recommend right now any particular stock, this is SOXL on the daily time frame. This is 3 times leveraged semiconductors, and this is certainly pushing to the upside. This is breaking out to the upside after 2 years long consolidation, and this is looking very healthy to the upside. This looks like a very good chart. So if you think I'm bullish on SOXL, of course I am. This is a great one to be considering. SOXS is the inverse, and you can see with the inverse now making an all-time low. That makes complete sense with SOXL making a new high. This is making an all-time low, so pretty much no change here, with likely lower prices to come. All right, Addy Boy, what do you say about Qualcomm? So that is QCOM. So with Qualcomm, we all have to realize that with semiconductors doing well, we have AMD and NVIDIA leading the charge. Qualcomm's going to be doing well as, so you can see Qualcomm up again today, and you can see up over all of your moving averages, right? Here's your light blue line, or the 20-period moving average. One has to note that when the trend is strong, you might not get a move back towards the 150-period moving average. So when we had these pullbacks in broad markets in the past, Qualcomm got near the 150, bounced off. Got near 150, this is the yellow line, and bounced off. In a stronger uptrend, as we see now, it doesn't have to get to the 150. It can just get near the 20 and bounce off. So you can see, get near the 20, bounce off. Get near the 20, bounce off. And right now, the trend is very strong to the upside, so Qualcomm looks good. Your near-term resistance, as we can see it right now, is $90. But again, resistance levels are meant to be broken in a bull trend, and therefore, we would be looking for a break of $90 at some point in time. All right, and then finally, 7-day options. So I actually read your comment. So you said that you went into Tesla calls and you did quite well. So good job on that. I think for Tesla, it was really 2 or 3 days of an immense up move, a very rapid up move. So if you were in it, you got in and you did very well. But if you weren't in it, it was so quick that you might have just kind of blinked in those 2 days. You'd be like, whoa, Tesla went from 200s to the 300s. So good job on that. And then you also pointed out how everyone should short the market. As a matter of fact, I would argue very much against it right now because, the same idea goes here, right? It's that people have been shorting and shorting and shorting, and we see the majority of the time shorting has not been profitable this year. It was very profitable last year, but shorting has been a very risky affair to deal with this year, and going long has been the very right thing to do. And if you just consider a little bit in terms of seasonality, I don't really like to look at seasonality because markets sometimes like to shift to the norm, but it's again something to pay attention to. We're in the month of November, we're going to the month of December, and those are historically, if you were to say, pretty strong months in terms of seasonality. So with that, with all that combined, I'm not the person to short this market right now, and the market just broke an all-time high. I usually don't like to short when markets go towards all-time highs. Now you can see here, sure, there was a little bit of potential if you shorted up here, but look how quick you needed to get out of that short before the trend reversed, right? Look how quick you need to go, reverse into a long before the trend eventually reversed back to the upside. So which again just shows you the resiliency of this uptrend, and markets pushing all-time highs certainly looks very good for a broad market. So far, bulls are in full control, and that's pretty much it. Thanks everyone for watching this video. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to everyone very soon.